Oh, greetings again, travelers. Welcome to another strange and peculiar update thing to try and break up the monotony of just uploading these stream highlights. And we actually got this painting done about a week ago, and we actually did illustrate another BMX character up in here, which it does really trip me out because honestly, I never thought I'd be able to draw and paint little BMX bikes in the format of just drawing on these cards. It's hilarious, right? Now, I've actually been having a lot of people ask me what sort of pens that we're using to get these lines up in here, and we're actually using this 003 micron pen, and the reason why we're using these microns is when you paint on top of the microns, the ink doesn't bleed out. Now, the thing is you can use these high-tech Japanese, I think these are some sort of Japanese pens up in here. Now, the only problem is if you do acrylic painting, I guess watered down acrylic painting or watercolor, these pens actually bleed out. And so that's why we're using the microns. But yeah, this character is really fun up in here. We got a little seat of peace up in there. We got a Bible. We got some cross earrings. We've been getting a little bit more into the goth-esque vibe. It's kind of hilarious, right? And we got this green cross up in here. And it's actually kind of funny. These bars are actually the inspiration of some Day Smith bars up in here. But yeah, this illustration was fun. Hopefully we can draw a lot more BMX bikes. But one thing I have been struggling with, which if any of you guys have any tips or advice on how to do, is I've been struggling with the perspective drawing of trying to turn the bars, right? It's easy to draw a BMX bike in terms of, not turning the bars at all. But I've been noticing right when I start turning bars, it becomes really hard to draw. It gets really there's just something about it that's pretty funky up in here, right? But I got a little heart up in here. And also the thing that we also have brought up is, if you guys were wondering, the pencil sketch and then the ink sketch of what this looked like is that this was the pencil sketch up in here. We actually do have a little thumbnail that we did with colored pencil, and then we do it with a 0.5 pencil up in here. And then this is the ink layer. But now what's cool about these updates is we can also shout some riders out. And that's what we're going to do right here. Alrighty, let's shout some riders up in here. And this is some backwards ride. This is the trick that we're going to look into, everybody, all right? The backwards ride. And these are some clips that I've curated. What's actually very strange about this trick, the backwards ride, is that there's actually tons of how-tos on how to do this trick. Now, what's really weird about this trick is that there's actually a bunch of different ride-ins and ride-outs to this flatland trick. And the first one we're going to watch is this one, which this is actually from Ground Rules from Matt Wilhelm. And we're going to watch this ride-in that he does up in here. And so this is the ride-in that I kind of do, though I do it a little bit different. See how he's grabbing his seat right there? I actually don't do it that way. And he also started this ride-in with his foot pointed forward, which if you guys see how I do it, I actually just switch my foot into that backwards position already, and it makes it just way easier. Where you can see how he jumps and then does a 180 with his foot right there, and then he goes into this backwards ride like this. Which this trick's really cool. It's actually really fun. And shout out to Matt Wilhelm. He is actually one of the inspirations of why I learned this, no-hand backwards ride, which is hilarious, right? Okay, now the second one we're gonna watch up in here is this one, which this is actually a really old video up in here, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. This is from, holy moly, this is from 18 years ago. And this one actually has a bunch of views up in here. And this one's from Kev Van Leer, and it's the how to ride backwards up in here. So let's watch this one. Now, this is actually a different ride-in as well, which we'll kind of observe up in here. So he does a half lap. Is that a half lap? I guess that's not a half lap. It's like a half hydrant thing. I don't even know what that trick's called. What is that called? Like a half hydrant thing? Into a fakie. And then he goes through the bars like that. And then you could get into a backwards ride, just like that up in there. That's a cool ride-in up in there. And then we have this one, which This one's from the legend himself, Todd Carter, and this is How to Ride Backwards. Now, right now we're kind of just observing the ride-ins at the moment. There's actually not a lot of how-tos on how to do the ride-out, which actually I guess Todd does go into how to do the ride-out. But let's see how Todd goes about doing this. Now, what's interesting about how Todd does it, he actually puts both of his feet on top of his top tube up in there. And he kind of just like does a 180, sits down, and then goes into the backwards ride like that. Shout out to Todd Carter. And we also have this one. Look at how many crazy variations there is just to this one trick. And I'm actually just so surprised still at there's so many how-tos on how to do the backwards ride. I just kind of wish they would have went a little bit more into talking about how there's just so many different variations of to get into it and also to get out of it. But yeah, this one's from Sunny, and this one's How to Ride Backwards up in here. Now this guy probably has the most interesting one that I've ever seen. I don't know how this guy came up with this, but it's hilarious how he does it. So he goes in here, and he actually does a cross-footed, like X-up with his legs up in here, and then does like a freaking like 180 up in here. And that's a way to do it on that one. And yeah, shout out to this guy as well. This guy also has a tutorial on how to ride backwards. And isn't it a trip? There are so many how-tos on just this one trick. So shout outs to all of these guys. And there's actually even more. There's actually, I think, like 4 or 5 more videos of just this trick alone. But yeah, shout outs to all you guys. It's an interesting flatland trick. And also, if you guys watch a lot of flatland videos, I tried to find this one clip. I tried to find a clip of Dave Smith, but Dave Smith actually does do this like backwards ride into some sort of switch foot stick bee combo, but I couldn't find it. And anyway, well, everybody, I guess this concludes this strange update thing. Hopefully we can learn something, and I hope you guys continue to keep having fun on the bike. Just remember, what's cool about flatland is you can learn flatland in very, very minimal quarters. And I think that's one of the big strengths of flatland, right? But anyway, peace out, everybody. Keep trying your best and have fun. Peace.